Should you need the toilet, you'll find the ladies out through the door and down, and the gents out the door and sort of left and round a bit, follow the signs. The service will run unannounced. We'll stand to sing, and we'll sit for everything else. But when it comes to the singing, look out for a couple of choral pieces which we'll sit for. Heidi, our wonderful director of music here in the Sparkly Top, will give you directions up or down. So keep your eyes on her if you're not sure. We're going to begin. This first carol begins with a solo, so we'll stay seated and then stand after verse 1. Enjoy.
Once in royal David's city stood a lowly cattle shed, where a mother laid her baby in a manger for his bed. Mary was that mother mild, Jesus Christ her little child. He came down to earth from heaven, who is God and Lord of all, and his shelter was the stable, and his cradle was the stone. With a poor and mean and lowly, lived on earth our Saviour holy.
Our first reading is from the book of Isaiah, and prophecy made 700 years before the birth of Jesus Christ. Isaiah chapter 7, verse 14, and chapter 9, verses 1 to 3 and 6 to 7. Therefore, the Lord himself will give you a sign. The virgin will conceive and give birth to a son, and will call him Emmanuel. Nevertheless, there will be no more gloom for those who were in distress. In the past, he humbled the land of Zebulun and the land of Naphtali. But in the future, he will honor Galilee of the nations by the way of the sea, beyond the Jordan. The people walking in darkness have seen a great light. On those living in the land of deep darkness, a light has dawned. You have enlarged the nation and increased their joy. They rejoice before you as people rejoice at the harvest, as warriors rejoice when dividing the plunder. For to us a child is born, to us a son is given, and the government will be on his shoulders, and he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. Of the greatness of his government and peace there will be no end. He will reign on David's throne and over his kingdom, establishing and upholding it with justice and righteousness from that time on and forever. The zeal of the Lord Almighty will accomplish this.
People walking in the dark,
we now fast forward 700 years as Dr. Luke recounts the extraordinary birth of the child Isaiah had promised long before. The reading is from Luke chapter 1, verses 26 to 38. In the 6th month of Elizabeth's pregnancy, God sent the angel Gabriel to Nazareth, a town in Galilee, to a virgin pledged to be married to a man named Joseph, a descendant of David. The virgin's name was Mary. The angel went to her and said, "Greetings, you who are highly favored. The Lord is with you." Mary was greatly troubled at his words and wondered what kind of greeting this might be. But the angel said to her, "Don't be afraid, Mary. You found favor with God. You will conceive and give birth to a son, and you are to call him Jesus. He will be great and will be called the Son of the Most High. The Lord God will give him the throne of his father David, and he will reign over Jacob's descendants forever. His kingdom will never end." "How will this be," Mary asked the angel, "since I'm a virgin?" The angel answered, "The Holy Spirit will come on you, and the power of the Most High will overshadow you. So the Holy One to be born will be called the Son of God. Even Elizabeth, your relative, is going to have a child in her old age, and she who was said to be unable to conceive is in her 6th month, for no word from God will ever fail." "I am the Lord's servant," Mary answered. "May your word to me be fulfilled." Then the angel left her.
Holy Ghost,
The next reading is taken from the book of Luke, chapter 2, verses 1 to 7. In those days, Caesar Augustus issued a decree that a census should be taken of the entire Roman world. This was the first census that took place while Quirinius was governor of Syria, and everyone went to their own town to register. So Joseph also went up from the town of Nazareth in Galilee to Judea, to Bethlehem, the town of David, because he belonged to the house and the line of David. He went there to register with Mary, who was pledged to be married to him and was expecting a child. While they were there, the time came for the baby to be born, and she gave birth to her firstborn, a son. She wrapped him in cloths and placed him in a manger, because there was no guest room available for them.
Highly
Luke 2, verses 8 to 20. And there were shepherds living out in the fields nearby, keeping watch over their flocks at night. An angel of the Lord appeared to them, and the glory of the Lord shone around them, and they were terrified. But the angel said to them, "Do not be afraid. I bring you good news that will cause great joy for all the people. Today, in the town of David, a Savior has been born to you. He is the Messiah, the Lord. This will be a sign to you. You will find a baby wrapped in cloths and lying in a manger." Suddenly, a great company of the heavenly host appeared with the angel, praising God and saying, "Glory to God in the highest heaven, and on earth peace to those on whom his favor rests." When the angels had left them and gone into heaven, the shepherds said to one another, "Let's go to Bethlehem and see this thing that has happened, which the Lord has told us about." So they hurried off and found Mary and Joseph and the baby who was lying in the manger. When they had seen him, they spread the word concerning what had been told them about this child. And all who heard it were amazed at what the shepherds said to them. But Mary treasured up all these things and pondered them in her heart. The shepherds returned, glorifying and praising God for all the things they had heard and seen, which were just as they had been told.
What is
I hope this evening has put you squarely in the Christmas mood, if you weren't already there. I know for some of us, Christmas doesn't really begin until we go to a carol service. If this is your first of the year, then I hope it's done the trick for you. I wonder what your favorite part of the Christmas season is. Mulled wine and mince pies. If that's you, I've got good news for you. Stick around afterwards. We have industrial quantities downstairs. I wonder, do you still get excited about presents? I think I do. Even when I know exactly what it is, because I told them exactly what to buy me and from where. What about the food? December is just the worst time to start a diet, isn't it? Have you ever tried? By the end of December, my blood type is chocolate. There is something very special about Christmas, as the song goes. It's the most magical time of the year. Magical time with family and friends, the magical feeling of setting that out-of-office email. Anyone done that yet? Leaving the projects and the early starts until the new year, which seems so far away. Of course, the magic of Christmas only goes so far. Forgive me a clunking gear change, but tomorrow morning I'm going to go to my stepdad's funeral. This will be the first Christmas without him. And tinsel and turkey don't offer very much comfort at the graveside, do they? In fact, in some ways, Christmas can make painful things worse and not better. That health scare, that bitter breakup, the freshly empty chair at the Christmas dinner table. Oh, and don't turn on the news. That won't cheer you up either. Christmas is a wonderful escape, but presents and puddings can only do so much. But if the events of the first Christmas, the events that we've sung about and heard read to us this evening, if those events were actually true, if it actually happened, imagine if what we sung in our first carol this evening were actually true. He came down to earth from heaven, who is God and Lord of all. What if God really did come down into the chaos and the mess? What if God really did become a man, able to answer our biggest questions, able to tell us who we really are, what we're for? What if that child born in the manger really was the child the prophet Isaiah had promised 700 years in advance? What if he really was the wonderful counselor? So he knew how to fix the mess and heal the brokenness. And mighty God, with the power to do it, and everlasting Father, with the heart and the compassion to do it too. The Prince of Peace, God come down to bring peace to people who have so little of it. What if the child born really did have the power to sort everything out? Global issues, yes, but personal as well. What if he could take away the pain and chase away the darkness? What if he could heal the brokenhearted and give hope to the hopeless, even those standing at the graveside? What if he could sort out the mess? I love Christmas lunch. What I don't love is the clear-up afterwards. It takes forever. My mum, in her great wisdom, doesn't have a dishwasher. So it's all done by hand. Great time to bond. Pot after pot after pot after plate after plate after glass and the gravy jug and the cranberry sauce thing and the cutlery that just keeps on coming. It takes forever, but you have to do it, don't you? You can't leave the kitchen in that state. And there is a real satisfaction, though I might not confess it on Christmas Day, there's a real satisfaction when the last knife has been cleaned and the last surface wiped down and you can flop into a comfy chair with a feeling of a job well done. What if Jesus really could clear up the world and our lives too, the way that we clear the kitchen on Christmas afternoon? What if the events of the first Christmas were really true? But of course it can't be true, can it? For a start, those sorts of things don't happen, do they? Angels don't appear to people announcing miracle births. Virgins don't conceive. Gods aren't born in mangers. Those things belong in fairy tales. And besides, if it really were true, wouldn't everyone believe it? If God came down to earth, wouldn't everyone be convinced? And if it really were true, wouldn't the world look different? Wouldn't there be more peace, less suffering? Wouldn't humanity be kinder to each other? Except But the fact that these things don't happen is the point, isn't it? And people like Luke wrote it down for us. And we're still thinking about it, talking about it, singing about it 2,000 years later, because this sort of thing doesn't just happen. If that child really was the Son of God come to earth, wouldn't you expect angels and a miracle birth? These things don't usually happen, and that's the whole point. That's what makes it worth our attention. I mean, take Dr. Luke, for example. He was clear that what he was recording about Jesus was both absolutely extraordinary and absolutely true. Our readings skipped over Luke's introduction to his record. How would you expect his record of Jesus' life to begin? That's maybe once upon a time or a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Well, here's how his record actually begins. He writes, "Many have undertaken to draw up an account of the things that have been fulfilled among us, just as they were handed down to us by those who from the first were eyewitnesses and servants of the word of the message. With this in mind, since I myself have carefully investigated everything from the beginning, I too decided to write an orderly account for you, most excellent Theophilus," the person to whom he wrote, "so that you may know the certainty of the things you've been taught." What do you notice? He's writing about things that have been fulfilled among us. In other words, Jesus' life was lived in public view in front of eyewitnesses. This isn't about rumor, this is about eyewitness testimony from those who really saw it all play out in front of them. They saw it, and then Luke wrote it down. And so very carefully, he says, "I myself have carefully investigated. I've checked this, Theophilus. I've cross-checked all of the details for you, and I'm writing it down." See what he says? "That you may know the certainty of the things you've been taught." He knows how incredible it sounds. These things don't happen, but this is no fairy tale, he's saying. It's true. And you can be certain. Here's the proof. And no, of course, it's quite true that not everyone believes it. Many didn't believe it at the time. His mother Mary would learn to live with the rumors that swirled for years and years around the circumstances of Jesus' birth. People would believe anything before believing in a child sent from God. And as a man, Jesus was called a fraud. He made powerful enemies. He was executed as a heretic and a danger to society. Skepticism about Jesus continues today, and yet how many have had the chance to look at the evidence of Jesus for themselves? Many of us here perhaps have had a version of Christianity fed us at school. We dismissed it as a childish fairy tale, and we've never returned to it with an adult mind. But those who do take it seriously in later life are often shocked to find that the Christianity of the Bible is a long way from the school fairy tale. There really is evidence demanding an explanation. It really does seem incredibly to be true. And of course, in some ways, the world doesn't seem much different today than before the baby was born. We're still going to funerals, for example, 2,000 years later. But Jesus didn't come to fix everything all at once. His life on earth was like a film trailer, a glimpse of something bigger still to come. And as baby Jesus became Jesus the man, Luke's record shows that he proved his mighty power in public. He did things only God can do. He healed the incurable and raised the dead. He walked on water. He miraculously multiplied food. He came back from the dead himself, all in front of astonished eyewitnesses. He gave public proof after public proof that he really was the Son of God, that he really could fix the world once and for all when the time would come. And no, it isn't fixed yet. But if you want to see the difference that Jesus makes today, the place to look is his people. If you came with a Christian friend this evening, why don't you ask them afterwards while you're sipping your way through a glass of mulled wine, what difference Jesus' coming has made to them? Let me try and guess some of the things. I'm slightly preempting it now, aren't I? But let me guess the sorts of things they might say. The first thing they might mention is hope. Jesus has given them hope. This world is such a mess. We get used to it, don't we? Sometimes something happens on the news that genuinely shocks us, but most of the time it doesn't. It's just how the world is. People hurt each other. Nations go to war. We suffer, we die. That's just how it is and how it always will be, unless Jesus really is the Son of God. If Luke is right about Jesus, suddenly there's hope for a better world than the one we're in right now. And one of the last things Jesus said to his closest followers is that he's coming back. And when he comes back, he's going to fix everything. He'll create a new world for everyone who's put their trust in him. No suffering, no sadness, no sickness, no death. If Jesus really is God, he can do it. He will do it. Hope and peace. Peace. You know, according to Jesus, the way that the world is explained by the way we are with God. Wars and disease and suffering are symptoms, but the cause is our rebellion against him. The world is at war with itself because humanity is at war with its God. And what we need is peace. Isaiah called the miracle child the Prince of Peace, because the child would come to buy us peace with God by giving up his life on a cross. He died as God's enemy so that we could become God's friend. And today, all over the world, people are trusting in Jesus and finding peace and friendship and family with God. And peace with God comes with the most amazing peace of mind. Life really changes when you know that God is your friend. And hope plus peace equals joy. What did the angels say to the shepherds? We bring you good news of great joy for all the people. Of course, there's joy to be found in tinsel and turkey. But this joy is deeper and stronger. It's joy at the Christmas dinner table. It's joy at the GP appointment. It's even joy at the graveside. Jesus' kind of joy is the joy that nothing and no one can take away. He came to bring hope, peace, and joy. And he's offering it this Christmas to you. Here at Duke Street, we love to introduce people to Jesus. He's changed our lives in so many ways. We'd love others to have their lives changed by him too. Books can help people to make sense of Jesus. You'll find scattered around the building later with your mince pies and mulled wine a few books free of charge for you to take home. You'll find, for example, these booklets, Not Just Another Christmas, a free gift from us to you, a very short read, going into a little more depth about the amazing hope that Jesus came to give us. You'll find these slightly bigger books. This one is a copy of Luke's account. If you left this behind at school and dismissed it as a fairy tale, it's time to read it with an adult mind. Grab one of these, take it home as our gift to you this Christmas. Many, though, have found it helpful to explore these big questions with others. And in the new year, we're hosting a free 3-evening course called Hope Explored. Here's a short trailer.
There are few emotions more powerful than hope. It's a spark inside you that brings a smile to your lips, a light that shows on your face, a feeling that lifts your head and pulls you forward. These days, hope like that often feels hard to come by. Maybe you've experienced your share of disappointments, but real hope is what the Christian faith claims to offer. A joyful expectation for the future, based on true events in the past, which changes everything about my present. Hope Explored is a 3-session series for anyone who is looking for a hope worth having. Whatever you do or don't believe, this is your invitation to explore, to discuss, to question, to discover. This is Hope Explored.
So 3 Sunday evenings in January, 14th, 21st, 28th. We'll meet for just over an hour in here, around tables, a chance to explore together these extraordinary claims that Jesus Christ makes with an adult mind. Good news of great joy for everyone. Come join us and discover for yourself hope, peace, and amazing joy. We're going to stand and close with a final carol. Do take a seat. If you'd like a reminder of the details for the Hope Explored free course in January, grab one of these yellow cards you'll find scattered around. And on the back, there's a QR code that you can scan with your phone, and it'll take you to a place on our website with a few more details and a chance, if you'd like to register your interest. I hope you've enjoyed this evening. I know that you've been saving up lots of applause for our fantastic musicians. Why don't we show our appreciation to them for their hard work? There are lots of mince pies waiting for you downstairs. We're going to be down here. If you'd like mince pies and mulled wine, don't feel you have to rush off to hang around and help us to eat them, otherwise I'll still be eating them in January. You're very welcome too to join us on Christmas Day here 10 o'clock in the morning for another celebration of the amazing hope and joy that Jesus Christ came to bring. Have a very happy Christmas.